Alrighty then, welcome back to our frozen village. It's early spring, it's still -6 degrees. We're doing well still on everything. I don't see any reasons to concern. This new crop field that we've built, we're gonna go with potato, just to mass out on food. And other than that, I guess we can just speed it up. Let's just gather some resources beforehand. Cool. Alright, now we actually have quite a bit of room to grow into. That's 3 out of 5, that's 4 out of 5, that's 4 out of 5. People are expecting babies. Maybe I'll wait a bit until I build the next house because I'd like more people as adults. And at this stage I only have 11 people that can work. Not as good, I'd say, in order to jump over to 30 or something like that. So just gonna give it a bit. We're gonna wait for proper springtime to actually come over, which would be at 0 degrees. We're gonna be noticing that once the grass goes away. Still doing okay with hides, although kind of a bit low. I'm really not 23 now. I might add one more hunter, but I don't know, maybe later on. Cool. -2 degrees, almost there. Now, let's just take these people out. That was a huge waste on my part. Shouldn't have left people in there. Let me just assign... No, I won't assign anyone to anything. Yeah, we're fine. Cool. It's gonna surely be 0 degrees now. Cool. Let's get our 9 farmers working. We're gonna take the people off of fish. More people farming. And I need one more still. I can grab them off of lumberjack. Yeah, that'll be fine. And again, at this stage, I'm just gonna watch them build the crops. I don't want anything else to happen other than getting food. I still have flax, so no worries there. Might want to change over into wheat soon. I'll do that maybe during next summer. So year 4 spring, I'll switch over to wheat production so that I can actually make some bakeries. When you get wheat, you don't actually need a mill to start making food out of it. You could do just the wheat, and then you can make bakeries because they can still make bread out of just water from a well and grain that comes directly from harvesting wheat. Once you plant the resource, it's wheat, but once the villagers actually collect it, it becomes grain. All right. Again, I see no reason to concern myself with, so I'm just gonna let it slide for now. I'll just let a few months pass, and I'll get right back to you guys. Alright, and we're back. It's summer. A few months would have passed since. I did absolutely nothing other than watch the villagers do their thing, I guess. What I kind of noticed is that my barn is almost halfway up, and that's like what? 4,000 resources maximum. I'm going to be getting 4,000 types of, sorry, not types, 4,000 of that unit of potato in this case. That's going to fuck up my barn basically. So in that case, I'm just going to have them collect this already, and I'll be using those guys to kind of do other stuff in the meantime. Again, I'm keeping an eye out on my 4 main resources. Firewood is fine. Clothes, we can produce them really quick, no problem there. And high quality tools, we're still doing fine there as well. One more person grew up, so we actually have 12 now, and hopefully they'll collect this really fast. Okay, other than that, I would like to build a carpenter shop, which is this one. I don't have the wood necessary for it, so I'll need to stop these villagers from working here and actually have them gather some wood so I can actually start to build more buildings. 1 piece of clothing left. We'll be fine with that. There's absolutely no reason to concern myself. The only thing that I'm really concerned about right now is the fact that I'm running out of bread. So that will leave my villagers with only fish, meat, and vegetables. I really hope they won't get sick up until I get bread production up and running. Are they even gathering it? I can't tell. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. But it's going to be a while. This one has actually grown to That's kind of weird. Like, you notice how early on I asked for them to start gathering that, and you can see that this one has actually fully grown, and then they just started gathering it automatically. And it's really not that far. It's 3 lines for this one, and this one has been like half, and this is like a quarter. It just feels the difference should have been bigger. This should have been almost gathered by now. Oh well, that would be fine. 600 firewood, that's great. Now that I actually have 2 laborers, let me just assign 1 person to clothing, just so we have them up in advance. No reason to concern myself. I'm just gonna set this up for flax for next year, because I'll probably be using up these resources right about now, and the building is almost full. Exactly my concern. Although it's the best kind of error message that you can get, that your barn is full. That is just great to see. It just means build another one, keep stocking up more, no problem whatsoever. Alright, these guys are almost done. We can almost pull them off from the field. Just gonna give them a bit more. God, I love seeing food going up. It's just so satisfying. And looks like 1 more person has grown up. No, only from an infant to a child. We do have 8 babies right now and 7 children. That's 15 people. That's more than the actual amount of adults. And they're all eating. So up until these guys actually grow, they're not pulling their own weight. That's why I went so redundant with food. So in excess, basically. Cool, we're done here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll remove it from there. And we can actually start working on some other stuff. Let's just cancel resource gathering. If I did have, yeah, it did. Alright. Cancel off everything, and I now just need some wood. I want to focus on wood just because it allows me to build. So it's the most important resource for me right now. Once this is fully collected as well, I'll remove the other villager from here, and I think I'll actually do it from this field as well, just because 1 harvest is enough. I don't need them to have planting it all over again just for that little bit that I might get. And actually I won't get anything. This year has actually been pretty bad in terms of weather. 0 degrees came pretty late, so that means that my harvest will actually be very late. I'm already into early fall. Temperatures have already dropped down to 17, and I still have not collected this, which is insane when you think about it. On mild, you'd have time to do it twice, easily and safely. Cool, that's enough wood. Let's build up that carpenter shop. Here. And we're gonna build it, I don't know, it should be close to the warehouse just so it can pull resources faster. We're gonna do it here in the back, hopefully leaving room for a house in between. Although that doesn't look to be the case. Can make it go all the way in the back. Perfect, there we go. Not sure if a house will fit in there. I kind of doubt it now. It will not. That's fine. We're gonna use it for other stuff. You can always improvise. Okay, this is almost gathered. Look at that amount of potato. And we're up to 30 people as well. Year 3. That means we're gonna need to go 10 more people by year 4. So I'll probably be building an additional small house. The first type of mine that you need to build should be clay. 510 wood necessary, as you can see here. No, that's the one. Clay mine. Oh, 340. I was wrong. You only need 340 wood to start that off. Forgot to put the builders there. Let's go. I'll add 1 more. Why not? And these guys are almost done, so I can actually pull them off from the field and have them help me out here with building and whatnot. I'll just gather more wood. I'll leave it at max speed. And you should honestly try to get used to playing on high speed. It'll just make everything way easier for you. The only times you should actually be pausing is when you need to achieve a critical task, something that would, I don't know, hinder your villagers from surviving or anything else of the sort. Okay, this is gathered, 28, I don't need that, 2, 3, 4. I remove them from here, 500, nah, let's leave 1 person here gathering just a little bit. We have 24 pieces of clothing now, we're totally fine. Okay, now that we have 9 people, let's put some people back on fish just to keep the palette diverse. This is almost done. It's done. Great. Let's have someone build a few tools for us, and we're just gonna leave it like that. Cool. Now, why is he not gathering it? Gather. Cool. Fall, looking great on resources, looking great on firewood. I think we can build that new house again. Yeah, we're gonna do that. It might feel rushed, but it's actually not. With this amount of food, I can actually build a really big one, but I wouldn't have the clay for it. That's why I said the first mine that you should build is clay, because you need it for the first big house that you want to plop down. So we're gonna add this one. Where's the entrance? I'm gonna face it towards our city. And this will be fine. I'm gonna add a few more roads, just because. I like encircling the buildings with roads just so it provides access from every single angle. And bad temperatures are here. We drop down below 0, means our crop is gone, means everyone is available to work. So let's focus on collecting those resources. More wood. I want to build more stuff this winter. I'm trying to get it as close as I can so they don't actually waste a long time going there. To the best of my ability. Eventually, I'll start mowing too many of them down, so I'll actually need to build a Forester's Lodge, if I'm not mistaken. It is a Forester's Lodge. What I do with these, I'll plop one down, I'll leave one villager on it, and I'll just deselect the option for allowing the villagers that work here to cut them. So basically what I'll keep doing is they'll just keep on planting. So whenever I need wood, I just plop the entire area down. Makes it way easier, and I can just have 2 or 3 of those, which I will have going further. Definitely. Alright, new house is done. Should I add a well? I'm already thinking of adding a well. Just you see, like for example this one, they have to walk quite a bit. I can add a new well there. It's under municipal buildings and well. Leave a little bit of space for a road. And 3. There we go. Perfect. Only 1 worker there. Look at that beautiful amount of mood coming in now, because we have so many people actually free to work that. The only thing that I'm kind of lacking now is the 3rd type of meat. What I could do, I'm not sure how good it's going to be. What I could do is I could go for the orchard. What you can do to have fruit in your diet as well, you can either go with a gatherer's hut, which is basically like a hunter, but instead of getting meat and hide, they just bring fruit, forest fruit back. But I really don't prefer it. I honestly prefer the orchard type of field, because it's just a lot more reliable, I guess. I should also build an additional barn, but next year, honestly, I don't think I'll be focusing on food that much, because I don't want this to be fully worked at, just as it was last. Maybe I might do it for wheat, and I'm gonna make some bakeries, because I'm already out of bread. That literally brings me down to 2 main sources of food. My second one is pretty bad as well, and meat is just a bit of a luxury right now in Bluefield Village here. Alright, early winter. We're into early winter, we're doing fine on wood. Alright. 36 primitive tools have already been built. That's more than enough. I'll stop it, and I'll just keeping an eye on it. Alright, let's build something. Let's make a barn first off. Storage, barn. Keep it close-ish to the city. Kind of hard to see. There we go. And we're gonna build a road leading from there to here. Going this way as well, just encircling everything. Because why not? Normal roads would give you 20 or 25% movement increase, and the big ones, sorry, not big ones, the paved roads would give you like 40 to 45%. I'm not exactly sure about the numbers. I haven't actually read them anywhere specifically on Wikipedia or anything of the sort. I read them on, I think, a forum post somewhere, something, so I wouldn't necessarily rely on those numbers, but you can see the increase in speed, especially on the paved roads. It's actually quite nice once you have your entire infrastructure built with paved roads, and I'm pretty sure it's necessary as your city grows bigger and bigger. 30 people, do we still have room to accommodate new babies? It looks like we do. A little bit though. Maybe I'm gonna make an additional house. Why not? Let's make an additional house again. It'd be so funny to just crash and burn and lose everything due to something that I would have forgotten. But I doubt it though. I doubt it still. Where's the entrance? There we go. And I'm gonna face it this way. And can I build a road there as well? It looks like there is already one. That's just great. Alright. Kind of low on clothing, but that's expected just because every single new villager that kind of grows up has to go pick up a piece of clothing, and everyone else who loses their current one, like this guy's halfway down, they'll just go and pick up a new one. We're kind of low on hides. I'm just gonna add a second hunter. I'll add a second hunter for additional meat and for additional hide. What I'm gonna do this year, just as I said, I'm gonna go into wheat production. I'm actually not gonna use any more potatoes. I'll be fine for 1 year to pass. So I'll use everyone else to keep on building, to keep on expanding, to keep on doing other stuff. So I'm actually gonna pause this, just so I remember that it's paused. It won't actually produce anything. I'll just have them on flax and on wheat, and I'll make some bakeries. It's really cool with bakeries because they work year round. I know the harvest can be eaten year round, but bread just seems to be better when feeding your citizens. It says only 8 calories, which is the same as meat. It's almost the same as fish. It's almost the normal standard, but it just feels better for some reason. I don't know why. Pies are the best by far, and the vegetable pie is insane. The vegetable pie is 56 calories, but you actually need milk and fruit to make it. Instead of having people on the field this year, I'm gonna have them on a orchard. That is definitely the best thing to do in this case, because the first year that you plop down the orchard, you're not actually gonna be producing fruit. They only produce fruit the following year. So that's why I like to make it in advance, to prep it up this year for next year to actually have fruit. I'm not gonna make it too big, maybe 2 people max. That's a bit, still seems a bit big. Ah well, that's fine. More roads. Always more roads. I love roads. And just here. Okay, that's it. This is going to be a bit of an adventure because it's quite big. They got a lot of stuff to carry over, and again we need more wood. Let's have them harvest more. Just wood. 158, that'll be sufficient. Alright, we missing anything? We got tools, we got clothes. We're gonna add again. We're running pretty low on clothing because I have 8. I'm just gonna, for safety purposes, I'm just gonna add them more early on if I can remember the weaver. There we go. That's it. Alright, this is complaining about something. It says that no resources for production. I need more wood. Good thing I already asked them to gather wood. But it is actually being brought over, 162. Just 8 more wood needed. They should be able to bring it quite quickly. Mining resource, mining, carrying to storage. They actually carry very little. How much is this guy bringing? 7? No. 1. 1. Thank you. Great contribution. Excuse me. Alright, it's already late winter. You kind of saw the battle plan. Keep on adding food, keep on expanding. And just because I have so much food, I don't actually need to focus on it so much. What I'd like to focus now is diversifying the food palette up a bit and just adding the additional buildings that I might need. I already added the carpenter, where is it? There we go. The carpenter's hut, lodge, whatever it's called. The carpenter's shop. And other than that, I can't think of anything that I might really need other than going into bakery production, going into bread production with the bakeries and the wheat. I already have this selected to be wheat. I already have this selected to be potatoes, but it's paused. We're doing quite well on 5,000. And I just want to let you guys see the orchard and I'll stop because it's already early spring and I can already start moving people onto it because it's -1 and it'll shortly go into 0. So on orchard I will have a maximum of 4 people. That's what I don't get. It says 2, but now it's actually 4. While I was building it, if you look at the field size, orchard, it's kind of the same size and it says 2. Definitely not 4. This is 38 by 18. Yeah, this is exactly the same size. And it says only 2 villagers, if you can see it just below the Apple logo. And it's actually 4 people that need to work on it. Not sure if that's a bug, not sure if that's intended, not sure if I'm misreading it, but either way, I'll leave you to it and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one, guys. Cheers.